One of the most powerful spiritual practices that can bring money into your life is visualizing $10,000 every single day and matching your energy to receive it. This ancient secret has been hidden from most people because those who discovered it realized something incredible. Money isn't really about working harder or finding the perfect business idea. Money is about energy, and when you align your energy with receiving $10,000 regularly, something magical happens in your life. This transformation doesn't happen through complicated investment strategies or starting another side business that drains your time and energy. This profound change is about becoming the exact type of person who naturally receives $10,000 on a regular basis. Think about this for a moment. There are people walking around right now who expect money to come to them, and it does. There are others who struggle and fight for every dollar, and that's exactly what they get. For example, if you want $10,000 to show up in your bank account, you absolutely must feel like someone who receives $10,000 easily and naturally. If you don't make this internal shift first, you'll keep jumping from one money-making method to another, thinking the problem is with the strategy or the timing or the market. You'll try online businesses, you'll look for better jobs, you'll buy lottery tickets, you'll follow investment advice, but nothing will create lasting change because you're trying to fix the outside without changing the inside. Most people live their entire lives stuck in this exhausting cycle. They see their bank account is low, so they panic and look for ways to make money quickly. They might make some money for a short time, but then they lose it or spend it, and they're right back where they started. This happens because they never changed their core energy around money. They never became the person who naturally and easily receives $10,000. So the first truth you need to understand deep in your soul is this: if you don't change your inner energy around money, absolutely nothing in your outer world will change in any lasting way. You might see temporary improvements, you might have good months followed by terrible months, but you'll always return to the same basic financial pattern because that pattern lives inside your energy field. This is the fundamental rule that governs how money flows in your life, and it's the reason why most financial advice doesn't work for most people. They're told to budget better, save more, invest wisely, or start a business, but nobody addresses the energetic foundation that determines whether money flows toward you or away from you. It's like trying to fill a bucket that has holes in the bottom. No matter how much water you pour in, it keeps leaking out. If you master this daily practice of visualizing $10,000 and aligning your energy to receive it, money will start flowing to you in ways that seem almost magical to other people. Opportunities will appear out of nowhere. People will offer you money for your skills and talents. Unexpected income will show up from sources you never considered. Your whole relationship with money will transform from struggle and worry to ease and natural flow. However, this transformation requires something that most people aren't willing to do. You have to face your own deep fears about money and the secret thoughts about yourself that you might not want to admit you have. You have to look at the part of yourself that believes you don't deserve good things, or that money is hard to get, or that you're just not the type of person who receives large amounts of money easily. You have to confront the voice in your head that says things like, "This sounds too good to be true," or "People like me don't get $10,000 just by visualizing," or "I need to be realistic about money." These thoughts and beliefs are exactly what's keeping your current financial situation in place, and until you're willing to question them and replace them with something more powerful, nothing will change. If you're truly ready to completely transform how money shows up in your life, if you're tired of the same financial struggles repeating over and over, if you're ready to become someone who naturally and easily receives $10,000, then everything I'm about to share with you will change your life forever. But if you're not ready to question your current beliefs about money and yourself, then this information won't help you, and you'll probably dismiss it as wishful thinking. Your entire life experience is like a perfect mirror that shows you exactly what your relationship with money looks like and exactly what your relationship with receiving good things looks like. This isn't just a nice metaphor. This is literally how the universe works. Everything you see around you, especially your financial situation, is a direct reflection of the energy you carry inside yourself about money and abundance. What do I mean when I say your life is a mirror? Well, let's get very specific about this. If deep down in your subconscious mind you believe that you're not the type of person who gets $10,000 easily, then your life will consistently show you proof of why you can't have that money. The universe operates like a loyal friend who always agrees with what you believe about yourself, even when those beliefs hurt you. When you believe you're not good with money, life will send you situations that confirm this belief. You'll have unexpected expenses that drain your savings. You'll make financial mistakes that cost you money. You'll miss opportunities that could have brought you income. You'll attract people and situations that reinforce the story that money is hard for you to get and keep. The universe doesn't judge whether your beliefs about money are good or bad, helpful or harmful. It simply responds to whatever you truly believe by giving you more experiences that match those beliefs. If you believe that money is scarce and hard to get, you'll keep experiencing scarcity and difficulty around money. If you believe that you have to work extremely hard for every dollar, you'll keep finding yourself in situations where money only comes through struggle and stress. Here's something crucial that most people never realize. Your current financial situation is not a reflection of what's possible for you in the future. Your current money situation is only a reflection of the beliefs and energy you've carried about money up until now. The moment you begin to change your inner energy around money, the mirror of your life must begin to change as well, because that's simply how this universal law works. Look around at the people in your life, and you'll see this mirror principle working perfectly. The people who expect money to come to them easily tend to have money flowing toward them regularly. The people who believe money is hard to get tend to struggle financially no matter how hard they work. The people who believe they deserve good things tend to receive good things, while the people who believe they don't deserve much tend to live lives that reflect that belief. Remember this life-changing point. Your outside world is simply a reflection of your inside world, especially when it comes to money. Your bank account, your income, your financial opportunities, your money worries. All of these are showing you exactly what's happening in your subconscious mind around money and receiving. Most people have been programmed since childhood with limiting beliefs about money, and those beliefs are still running their financial lives today. Maybe you heard your parents arguing about money when you were young, and you decided that money causes problems in relationships. Maybe you were told that money doesn't grow on trees so many times that you believe money is naturally scarce. Maybe you learned that rich people are greedy, and now you subconsciously sabotage yourself whenever you start making more money because you don't want to be seen as greedy. All of these old programs are still running in your subconscious mind, creating your current financial reality. But here's the amazing news. The moment you consciously choose to change your inner programming about money, your outer world must begin to change as well. The moment you start truly believing that you're someone who naturally and easily receives $10,000, your life will start reflecting that new belief back to you. This isn't positive thinking or wishful thinking. This is a fundamental law of how energy works in the universe. Your thoughts and beliefs create an energetic vibration, and that vibration attracts experiences that match it. When you change your vibration around money from scarcity and struggle to abundance and ease, you literally change what you attract into your life. Most people spend their whole lives trying to change their outer circumstances without ever addressing the inner energy that creates those circumstances. They try to make more money without becoming someone who naturally receives money. They try to solve their financial problems without changing their core beliefs about money and themselves. This is why most people stay stuck in the same financial patterns year after year, despite working hard and trying different strategies. The mirror of life reveals two distinct aspects that completely determine how much money flows into your experience. These two mirrors work together like a team, and when you understand how to work with both of them, you gain the power to transform your financial reality from the inside out. Most people only focus on one mirror while completely ignoring the other, which is why their money manifestation efforts produce inconsistent or disappointing results. The first mirror shows exactly how you see yourself in relationship to money. This mirror reflects your deepest beliefs about your own worthiness, your capabilities, and your identity when it comes to receiving and handling money. If you look at yourself and think thoughts like, "I'm not good with money," or "I don't deserve big amounts of money," or "I'm just not the type of person who gets $10,000 easily," then this first mirror will show you exactly those beliefs reflected back as your lived experience. This mirror works like the most loyal friend you've ever had, a friend who never questions what you say about yourself and always finds ways to prove you're right. When you say, "I'm not good with money," this loyal friend says, "You're absolutely right. Let me show you more evidence of why you're not good with money." Then you experience financial mistakes, unexpected expenses, missed opportunities, and all kinds of situations that confirm your negative belief about yourself and money. The second mirror reflects your beliefs about how the world, the universe, and other people relate to you when it comes to money. This mirror shows you whether you believe the world is abundant or scarce, whether you believe people want to give you money or keep it from you, whether you believe opportunities are everywhere or nowhere to be found. Your beliefs about how money flows in the world directly determine what kind of financial opportunities and experiences come into your life. If you believe that the world is against people like me, or the economy is terrible, or it's impossible to make good money these days, then the second mirror reflects those beliefs by bringing you experiences that confirm them. You'll encounter closed doors, rejected applications, failed business ventures, and economic conditions that seem to prove your beliefs about how hard it is to receive money in this world. Most people have negative programming running in both mirrors simultaneously, which creates a double block against money flowing into their lives. They don't believe they personally deserve or can handle $10,000, and they also don't believe the world is set up to give them $10,000. With both mirrors reflecting scarcity and limitation, their financial reality becomes extremely restricted, no matter how hard they work or how many strategies they try. But here's where the magic happens. When you consciously choose to transform both mirrors, when you begin to see yourself as someone who naturally receives $10,000, and you begin to see the world as a place that's abundant and eager to give you $10,000, then both mirrors start reflecting this new reality back to you. Instead of working against each other to keep money away from you, both mirrors begin working together to bring money toward you. Here's something that will save you years of frustration. You cannot change your financial reality by trying to directly manipulate the reflected image. Most people make this mistake over and over again. They see they don't have enough money, so they try to force money to come to them through willpower, desperation, or frantic activity. This is like trying to fix your appearance by grabbing the mirror and trying to rearrange your reflection with your hands. Instead of trying to directly manipulate the reflected image that you see in your bank account, you must learn to transform the image that you're projecting to both mirrors. You must become someone who sees themselves as naturally worthy and capable of receiving $10,000, and you must become someone who sees the world as abundant and supportive of your financial success. When you change what you're projecting to the mirrors, the reflections must change automatically. This works exactly like influencing another person's behavior. If you tell someone directly, "Don't think about pink elephants," they immediately think about pink elephants. But if you give them compelling reasons to think about something else, if you make something else more interesting and attractive than pink elephants, their attention naturally moves away from pink elephants without any force or struggle. The same principle applies to money. When you try to force money to come to you, when you chase after it with desperate energy, you actually push it away because desperation carries the vibration of lack and scarcity. But when you become magnetic to money by genuinely feeling worthy of receiving $10,000 and genuinely believing the world wants to give you $10,000, money begins flowing toward you naturally because you're no longer pushing it away with contradictory energy. Here's one of the most important secrets about manifesting $10,000 that nobody talks about, and understanding this will save you from giving up right before your breakthrough happens. The reflection that you see in your material world, your bank account, your income, your financial opportunities, is always formed with a certain time delay. This delay is not a flaw in the system. It's actually a built-in feature that serves a very important purpose in your manifestation journey. In your inner world, in the realm of your thoughts and imagination, you can create an image of having $10,000 instantly. You can close your eyes right now and visualize yourself receiving $10,000, and in your mind, that image appears immediately. That's how things work in the mental dimension. Everything happens at the speed of thought. You can imagine yourself wealthy, successful, and abundant in a split second. However, in the third dimension, in the physical world where you live and breathe and pay bills, things take much longer to manifest because of the inherent nature of physical matter. Matter is dense, solid, and bound by certain natural laws that prevent everything from manifesting instantly. If everything manifested the moment you thought about it, the world would be complete chaos, with everyone's random thoughts constantly creating and destroying physical reality. This time delay actually protects you from manifesting things you don't really want. If every passing thought became instant reality, you would have manifested countless unwanted experiences from moments of fear, anger, or worry. The time delay gives you the opportunity to become consistent and clear about what you truly want, rather than manifesting every random thought that passes through your mind. This brings us to the crucial key that determines whether you'll actually receive your $10,000 or just keep dreaming about it. You must hold on to the belief and identity you have established long enough for your desire to manifest in physical reality. This is where most people fail in their money manifestation efforts. They start strong, they visualize consistently for a few days or weeks, but then they give up because they don't see immediate results. What this really means is that you must remain faithful to the new identity you've created, the identity of someone who naturally and easily receives $10,000, until that identity becomes your lived reality. You have to keep acting, thinking, feeling, and believing like someone who regularly receives $10,000, even when your bank account still shows the old numbers, even when people around you question what you're doing, even when your logical mind tries to convince you it's not working. Whatever financial level you want to experience, you must start by adopting the complete identity of someone who already lives at that level. Ask yourself these powerful questions. How does someone who regularly receives $10,000 think about money? How do they feel when they check their bank account? How do they make financial decisions? How do they talk about money? How do they carry themselves? How do they view opportunities? What do they expect from the universe? Here's what happens to most people when they start this process, and recognizing this pattern will help you avoid the trap that keeps people stuck. People begin with enthusiasm and positive energy. They visualize receiving $10,000. They feel good about money. They start thinking like someone who's financially abundant. But then days pass, weeks pass, and they don't see the $10,000 showing up in their reality yet. As time goes on without visible results, their mood begins to decline. They start doubting the process. They begin thinking thoughts like, "This isn't working," or "Maybe I'm just not meant to have money," or "I should be more realistic." Their energy around money starts dropping back down to the old familiar levels of worry, scarcity, and limitation. They lose the feeling of being someone who naturally receives $10,000. Then, often right when their mood and energy have reached the lowest point, right when they've given up hope and returned to their old money story, suddenly a manifestation appears. An unexpected check arrives. A business opportunity presents itself. Someone offers to pay them for something. But now these manifestations are reflecting their previous negative attitude and energy, so they come with complications, delays, or problems attached. What happens next creates a vicious cycle that keeps people trapped in financial inconsistency. When the manifestation shows up but reflects their negative energy, it begins to deteriorate or disappear quickly. The unexpected money gets spent on an emergency, the business opportunity falls through, the person who was going to pay them changes their mind. This happens because the manifestation is simply reflecting the energy they were carrying when it was being formed in the invisible realm. This creates a wave-like pattern in people's financial lives, up and down, good months and bad months, hope followed by disappointment, excitement followed by frustration. They experience these ups and downs and think they can't escape them, not realizing that they're creating this pattern by not maintaining consistent energy and identity around money. The secret to breaking this cycle and creating consistent financial flow is to always remain loyal to the identity and worldview you have consciously chosen, regardless of what your current circumstances look like. You must understand that what you see around you right now, your current bank balance, your current income, your current financial situation, is simply showing you the results of decisions and energy you carried in the past. Here's a game-changing distinction that will revolutionize how you approach money manifestation. The mirror of reality does not reflect whether your thoughts are positive or negative, happy or sad, optimistic or pessimistic. What the mirror reflects is the specific content of your thoughts, the actual subject matter that you're focusing on, regardless of how you feel about that subject matter. Understanding this principle will explain why so many people struggle with money despite thinking they have a positive attitude. Let me explain this with crystal clarity because most people completely misunderstand how this works. Think about what happens when you consistently express dissatisfaction about your financial situation. Even though you hate your current money problems, even though you complain about them because you want them to change, your complaints contain very specific content about what you don't want. When you say things like, "I hate my dead-end job," the mirror doesn't focus on the hate emotion. The mirror focuses on dead-end job and reflects back more experiences of having a dead-end job. When you say, "I hate my bills," the mirror doesn't see the hate. It sees bills and brings you more bills to pay. When you say, "I hate being broke," the mirror reflects being broke and creates more experiences of financial shortage. This is exactly how the reflection process works in your life. The more you complain about what you don't have and what you don't want, the more these unwanted things continue to be reflected in your experience. You get more reasons to confirm your complaints, more evidence that supports your dissatisfaction, more situations that prove your negative worldview about money is correct. This creates what people call a scarcity mentality versus an abundance mentality, but it's much more specific than most people realize. It's not just about being positive or negative. It's about the actual content of what you're mentally focusing on throughout your day. Are you focusing on lack of money or presence of money? Are you focusing on financial problems or financial solutions? Are you focusing on what's missing from your bank account or what's flowing into your bank account? Think of this like the classic question, is the glass half empty or half full? Both perspectives are looking at exactly the same glass with exactly the same amount of water, but they're focusing on completely different content. The person focused on half empty is putting their attention on what's missing, what's not there, the empty space. The person focused on half full is putting their attention on what's present, what's available, the water that exists. When you apply this principle to manifesting your $10,000, you can see why focusing on the absence of $10,000 in your life creates more absence, while focusing on the presence and flow of $10,000 creates more presence and flow. Every time you think about not having $10,000, every time you worry about where your $10,000 will come from, every time you notice that your $10,000 hasn't appeared yet, you're feeding energy into the experience of not having $10,000. The key to applying this principle in your life is beautifully simple, but requires consistent practice. Focus your mental attention on what you want and what you already have, rather than on what you don't want and what you're missing. This sounds easy, but most people have spent years or decades in the habit of focusing on problems, lack, and what's wrong with their financial situation. To make this shift successful, you need to start by genuinely appreciating what you already have in your life right now. Look around and notice everything you currently possess that brings value to your life. Notice the money that does flow to you, even if it's not $10,000 yet. Notice the opportunities that do exist around you, even if they're not perfect yet. Notice the progress you have made in your life, even if you're not where you want to be yet. Think about the beautiful relationships in your life, the roof over your head, the food in your kitchen, the clothes in your closet, the technology that connects you to the world, the skills and talents you possess, the experiences that have shaped you into who you are today. When you genuinely appreciate what you already have, you create an energy of abundance that attracts more abundance into your experience. Once you've established a foundation of appreciation for what currently exists in your life, then you can powerfully focus on what you want to create and experience. Spend time each day thinking about your $10,000 coming to you. Visualize what it looks like, how it feels, what it means for your life. Imagine the freedom, security, and possibilities that $10,000 represents for you. Your vision doesn't have to be perfectly detailed or completely clear. It can be a vague image as long as you're genuinely focused on what you want rather than what you're lacking. The key is to feel the energy of having and receiving rather than the energy of needing and wanting. When you focus on what you want with the feeling of already having it, you close the gap between your current reality and your desired reality. Something magical happens when you consistently focus on what you want instead of what you lack. You naturally start to push the boundaries of your comfort zone. You begin to notice opportunities you previously overlooked. You start to take actions that align with your vision. You make choices that move you toward your goal rather than keeping you stuck in your current situation. As you maintain this focus on having and receiving $10,000, the gap between your current financial life and your desired financial life begins to close automatically. You don't have to force this process or struggle to make it happen. Your consistent focus on abundance and receiving creates a natural magnetic pull that draws money, opportunities, and resources toward you in ways that often surprise and delight you. Most people live their entire lives trapped in a destructive cycle that keeps them financially stuck, and they don't even realize they're caught in this pattern. Understanding this cycle and learning how to reverse it will literally allow you to see reality changing before your eyes. You'll no longer feel uncertain about whether your money manifestation is working because you'll be able to observe the process happening in real time as your financial world transforms. Here's how the cycle works for most people, and this explains why the vast majority of people never escape their current financial circumstances. It all starts with observation. They look at their current reality. They check their bank account and see a low balance. They look at their bills and feel overwhelmed. They examine their job and feel frustrated with their income. They observe their financial situation and feel disappointed or worried. Based on what they observe in their external circumstances, they form an internal attitude, which I call their image. This image consists of their thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about money and their financial situation. When they see bills they can't easily pay, they form an image of financial struggle. When they see a low bank account balance, they form an image of scarcity and lack. When they see other people with more money, they form an image of being left behind or not good enough. Once they've formed this internal image based on their current observations, the mirror of reality has no choice but to reflect that image back to them in their external experience. The universe doesn't question whether their image is accurate, helpful, or what they really want. It simply reflects whatever image they're consistently holding in their consciousness. But here's where the trap occurs, and this is the part that keeps people stuck for years or even decades. After the mirror reflects their internal image back to them as external reality, most people look at that reflection and use it to form their next internal image. They observe again, and they see the same financial problems, the same money struggles, the same limitations, and they think, this is just how my life is. This creates an addictive cycle that most people find themselves caught in without even realizing it. They observe their current financial reality, form negative images about money and themselves. The mirror reflects those negative images back as more financial struggle. Then they observe that struggle and form even more negative images. Round and round they go, year after year, wondering why nothing ever changes in their money situation. When people finally recognize that they're stuck in some kind of pattern, they usually try to break free by changing their external strategies. They try different business ideas. They look for new jobs. They attempt various investment approaches. They buy courses and programs that promise to teach them how to make money. And sometimes these strategies work temporarily and get them excited, but then they inevitably return to the same basic financial pattern. This happens because they never made the fundamental internal change that would break the cycle at its root. They never transformed their core worldview and identity around money. They tried to change their external results without changing the internal image that creates those results. It's like trying to change what you see in a bathroom mirror by rearranging the reflection instead of changing what you're doing in front of the mirror. If you want to become a true co-creator of your financial reality instead of a victim of circumstances, you need to completely reverse this cycle. Instead of starting with observation of your current reality, you must learn to start with consciously choosing the internal image you want to create, regardless of what your current circumstances look like. The first step in reversing the cycle is to begin with the internal image you want to form. Instead of looking at your current bank account and letting that determine how you feel about money, you consciously choose to hold the image of someone who easily and naturally receives $10,000. You decide what kind of relationship you want to have with money, and you start carrying that image in your consciousness regardless of what your external situation currently shows. This requires you to turn your back on your current financial reflection, at least temporarily, while you're building momentum with your new internal image. You have to stop giving so much attention and emotional energy to your current bank balance, your current bills, your current income limitations. This doesn't mean you ignore your responsibilities, but it means you stop using your current situation as the primary source of how you think and feel about money. You need to realize and accept that what you see around you right now has been formed from internal images and decisions you made in the past. Your current financial situation is not a reflection of what's possible for you in the future. It's simply showing you the results of old programming, old beliefs, and old energy that you use to carry around money. Every single day, you must consciously choose the internal image of someone who receives $10,000 naturally and easily. You say to yourself, "This is who I am now. This is how I relate to money now. This is what I expect from the universe now." You hold this image consistently, regardless of what your current circumstances are trying to tell you about yourself and money. As you maintain this new internal image consistently, the mirror of reality has no choice but to start reflecting it back to you, usually in small amounts at first. You might notice that people treat you slightly differently. You might receive unexpected small amounts of money. You might become aware of opportunities you hadn't noticed before. These are the early reflections of your new internal image. Here's the crucial difference that separates successful manifestors from people who give up. Instead of observing your reality looking for proof that your old limitations are still true, you practice confirmation by specifically looking for evidence that your new internal image is working. You pay attention to any positive changes, no matter how small, and you use those changes to strengthen your new identity and worldview. When you see small reflections of your new internal image and you focus on them with appreciation and excitement, you strengthen the image even more. This creates an upward spiral where your internal image becomes more powerful, which creates stronger reflections, which makes your internal image even more powerful, and so on. Now I want to share with you the exact practice that I use every single day and that I've taught to countless people who have successfully manifested significant amounts of money in their lives. This isn't just theory or wishful thinking. This is a precise spiritual technology that works when you apply it consistently and correctly. The first part of this practice involves becoming crystal clear about who you are when $10,000 flows to you regularly and easily. This isn't about imagining yourself as a different person. This is about discovering and embodying the version of yourself that naturally and effortlessly receives this level of financial abundance. Ask yourself these powerful questions and really feel into the answers. Who am I when $10,000 comes to me as naturally as breathing? How do I carry myself when I know that money flows to me easily? What does my energy feel like when I'm completely confident about my ability to receive abundance? How do I make decisions when I trust that the universe is always providing for me? When you ask these questions, don't just think about the answers intellectually. Actually feel into the energy of being this person. Notice how your body feels when you imagine yourself as someone who naturally receives $10,000. Notice how your breathing changes, how your posture shifts, how your facial expression transforms when you step into this identity. Create powerful affirmations that reinforce your identity as someone who receives $10,000 easily. These affirmations should feel authentic and exciting to you, not like empty words you're trying to convince yourself to believe. Here are some examples. I am worthy of receiving $10,000 because abundance is my natural state. I am a magnet for money because I carry the energy of prosperity wherever I go. I easily and effortlessly receive $10,000 because I am aligned with the flow of universal abundance. The second part of this practice involves consciously creating a worldview that supports your $10,000 manifestation. This means developing a comprehensive understanding of how you see the world, other people, opportunities, and the universe itself in relationship to money and abundance. Ask yourself, how do I see the world when I'm living in financial abundance? What do I believe about the universe's willingness to provide for me? How do I view other successful people when I'm successful myself? What do I believe about opportunities and possibilities when I'm financially free? How do I see money itself when I have a healthy, abundant relationship with it? Develop affirmations that reflect your new worldview about money and abundance. The world conspires in my favor to bring me financial opportunities. Money flows to me from expected and unexpected sources. The universe is infinitely abundant and wants me to prosper. Everything happens at the perfect time for my highest good. I live in a friendly universe that supports my success and happiness. Here's the specific visualization process that you should practice every single day, preferably at the same time each day, to build consistency and momentum. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths to center yourself and shift your attention inward. Begin by feeling yourself stepping into the identity of someone who naturally and easily receives $10,000. Don't worry about visualizing specific scenarios yet. Just focus on embodying the energy, the confidence, the sense of worthiness and expectation that this person carries. Feel this identity in your body, in your energy field, in every cell of your being. Now begin to visualize yourself actually receiving $10,000 in whatever way feels most natural and exciting to you. You might see yourself receiving a check in the mail, finding money that was owed to you, getting paid for services you provide, receiving an unexpected gift, or discovering a new income opportunity. The specific method doesn't matter as much as the feeling of receiving. As you visualize receiving your $10,000, pay special attention to how it feels emotionally. Feel the excitement, the gratitude, the sense of relief or freedom, the joy of knowing that money flows to you easily. Feel the satisfaction of seeing your bank balance increase. Feel the confidence that comes from knowing you can attract money whenever you need it. Spend several minutes living from the reality where receiving $10,000 is completely normal and natural for you. Make decisions from this place. Plan your day from this energy. Think about your future from this perspective. Let yourself fully inhabit the experience of being someone for whom $10,000 is not a big deal because it's just how money flows in your life. End your visualization by expressing genuine gratitude for the $10,000 that is already on its way to you. Thank the universe for its abundant provision. Thank yourself for being open to receive. Thank all the people and circumstances that will be involved in bringing this money to you. Feel this gratitude in your heart, not just in your mind. The power of this practice lies not in doing it once or twice, but in doing it every single day until receiving $10,000 becomes your new normal reality. Each day that you practice, you're strengthening the neural pathways in your brain, building the energetic momentum in your field, and sending a clear, consistent signal to the universe about what you're ready to receive. If you start using this daily visualization practice and consciously working with the mirror principle, your entire relationship with money will transform completely. I'm telling you this not as theory or speculation, but as someone who has lived this transformation and witnessed it work in ways that completely changed my understanding of how money actually flows in our lives. This is absolutely real, and this is something I applied in my own life with results that I couldn't ignore or explain away. When I first encountered these concepts about energy and money manifestation, I have to be completely honest with you. I thought it was complete nonsense. I was skeptical, practical, and focused on traditional approaches to making money through hard work, good strategies, and logical planning. But I reached a point in my life where nothing I was trying was working consistently. I would make some money and then lose it. I would have good months followed by terrible months. I would get excited about new opportunities that would eventually fall apart. I was stuck in exactly the cycle I described earlier, and I was becoming desperate enough to try approaches that I had previously dismissed. So I decided to experiment with these visualization and energy alignment practices, partly out of curiosity and partly out of desperation. I started doing the daily $10,000 visualization, even though part of my mind was constantly saying, "This is ridiculous, and you're wasting your time." I committed to trying it for 30 days just to see what would happen. Within the first week, I started noticing subtle changes that I couldn't easily explain. People began responding to me differently, almost like they sensed a shift in my energy around money. I started noticing opportunities that had been there all along, but that I had somehow been blind to before. Small amounts of unexpected money began showing up. Nothing dramatic, but consistent enough to get my attention. Then something happened that completely shifted my perspective. About 3 weeks into my daily practice, I received a phone call from someone I hadn't spoken to in over a year. They offered me a consulting project that would pay me exactly $10,000, the exact amount I had been visualizing daily. The timing, the amount, and the unexpected nature of the opportunity felt too coincidental to dismiss. But here's where it gets really interesting. That first $10,000 was just the beginning. As I continued the practice and began to truly believe in my ability to receive money easily, larger amounts started flowing into my life. Opportunities appeared that I never could have planned or strategized my way into. People started offering me money for skills and talents I didn't even know I had. The more I practiced, and the more I witnessed money flowing to me in response to my inner work, the stronger my belief became. And the stronger my belief became, the more money showed up, and in increasingly creative and unexpected ways. Within 6 months, I had manifested more money than I had made in the previous 2 years combined, and it came through channels I never would have anticipated. What became clear to me over time was that there was a definite pattern and correlation between my inner state around money and my outer financial results. When I was consistent with my visualization and energy work, money flowed easily. When I got lazy or skeptical and stopped the practice, the flow would slow down or stop entirely. When I returned to the practice, the flow would resume. The most profound change wasn't just in my bank account, it was in my entire belief system about what was possible in life. I realized that I had been operating under so many limiting assumptions about money, success, and my own capabilities. The visualization practice didn't just bring me money, it opened me up to a completely different understanding of how reality actually works. As my own results became undeniable, I began sharing these practices with friends and family members who were struggling financially. Time and time again, I watched people transform their financial situations by doing this same inner work consistently. The people who committed to the daily practice and worked through their resistance saw real changes in their lives. What I discovered is that this isn't some special ability that only certain people have. This is a universal law that works for anyone who understands it and applies it consistently. The people who succeed with this approach are simply the ones who persist long enough to see results and who don't give up when their logical mind tries to convince them it's not working. When we truly understand how energy and money work together in our lives, we discover a power that exists inside every one of us, but that most people never learn to access or use effectively. What we see in our bank accounts, what we experience in our financial lives, what we attract in terms of money and opportunities, all of this is simply an echo of the beliefs, identity, and energy that we carry about money and our own worthiness to receive abundance. The secret that separates people who struggle with money from people who have money flowing easily in their lives is not about intelligence, education, connections, or even hard work, although all of those things can be helpful. The real secret is about learning to stop just observing your current financial situation and instead learning to consciously create the inner energy of someone who naturally and easily receives the amount of money you desire. You have the power right now to begin transforming your financial reality from the inside out. You don't need to wait for the economy to improve, for the perfect opportunity to appear, for someone to give you permission, or for your circumstances to change. You can begin immediately by changing the internal image you carry about yourself and money, and by beginning to see the world as a place that is abundant and eager to support your financial success. As you commit to the daily practice of visualizing yourself receiving $10,000 and aligning your energy with that reality, the mirror of your life will begin to reflect small changes that gradually grow larger and more significant over time. Just like an alchemist who discovered the secret of turning ordinary metal into gold, you can learn to transmute your current financial reality into something abundant and prosperous by mastering the inner game of money. Every single day, you have a choice about what kind of internal image you're going to hold about money and your ability to receive it. You can choose to keep focusing on what you don't have, what's wrong with your financial situation, and why money is hard for you to get, which will keep creating more of the same experiences. Or you can choose to focus on abundance, gratitude for what you already have, and the expectation that $10,000 is flowing toward you right now. The universe is constantly inviting you to step into greater levels of abundance and prosperity, but that invitation can only be accepted by changing your inner world first. When you truly understand that your outer financial world is simply a reflection of your inner financial world, you realize that you have far more power over your money situation than you ever imagined. Your journey to receiving $10,000 begins with one simple but powerful decision. The decision to see yourself as someone who naturally and easily receives this amount of money. Everything else, the opportunities, the people, the circumstances, the methods, will organize themselves around this fundamental decision about who you are in relationship to money and abundance. If you've read this far, it means something inside you recognizes the truth in what I'm sharing. Trust that recognition. Trust your inner knowing that there's more available to you than what you're currently experiencing. Trust that you deserve to have money flowing easily in your life, and that you have everything you need right now to begin creating that reality. If this message has resonated with you and opened up new possibilities in your thinking about money, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more content about money manifestation and spiritual abundance. Share this video with someone in your life who needs to hear these ideas about transforming their relationship with money from the inside out. Most importantly, leave a comment below sharing your own experiences with visualizing money, your questions about this process, or your commitment to begin the daily $10,000 visualization practice. When you share your intentions publicly, you create additional accountability and energy around your goals that can accelerate your results. Your financial transformation is not only possible, It's inevitable when you understand and apply these universal principles consistently. The money you desire is already seeking you. Your job is simply to become energetically available to receive it.